Hello guys, and welcome to another video. And The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom will be releasing in just a few days, which is kind of hard to believe, because it didn't really seem like that long ago when I was first kind of hoping for a Breath of the Wild sequel. Like, before we even knew anything about, like, a Breath of the Wild sequel happening, like, before that 2019 announcement, like, ever since Breath of the Wild released, I've been wanting a sequel to the game, because if you didn't know already, Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of all time. Like, I feel like it really kind of revolutionized the Zelda franchise in many ways, and even revolutionized a lot of aspects of open world games in general. I know open world games have kind of existed quite a while before Breath of the Wild, but I feel like Breath of the Wild brought a lot of interesting elements to the table, like the fact that the whole world kind of feels like something that's very rewarding to explore and really fun to explore. I know other open world games have that, but I feel like Breath of the Wild kind of has it more than any others, rather than doing like kind of linear set missions and the occasional side quest. Breath of the Wild has like a ton of different things to do, like from raiding enemy bases to collecting Korok seeds to finding shrines, different settlements and villages, finding resources. Traversing the world in general is really fun. It has so much to offer in the world, which definitely makes it engaging and definitely makes the world alive, and that's why it's one of my favorite games of all time. Actually, my favorite game behind Odyssey. And that's why I wanted a sequel to this. I wanted Tears of the Kingdom, or well, whatever I was hoping for at the time, to expand upon the formula. And that's exactly what Tears of the Kingdom seems to be doing. Like, Tears of the Kingdom, while it may not have the same elements of Breath of the Wild, it seems to be kind of, like, expanding the scope of what you can do. Like, Breath of the Wild was like, oh, you can do this? And Tears of the Kingdom is really kind of amplifying that fact. Like, it's going even farther with that fact. And I'm just really looking forward to it. So I kind of wanted to discuss a little bit about the journey to Tears of the Kingdom, like the anticipation for it overall. And the anticipation for the whole Breath of the Wild saga or subsection of the Zelda franchise goes all the way back to 2014 with the reveal of Breath of the Wild. Like, it's hard to believe, but that was almost 9 years ago. And I was 10 years old, and starting like the 5th grade around that time when that was revealed. Like, it's kind of hard to believe because I'm finishing my first year of college now, and it's just kind of, it doesn't really seem like that long ago, because Breath of the Wild still feels like a very modern game and everything. So thinking that it was revealed almost a decade ago is kind of hard to believe and is kind of crazy. And continuing with the anticipation of Breath of the Wild, we got the gameplay footage at the Game Awards. I think that was in 2014. It was either late 2014 or 2015, around that time. But it looked somewhat different, but the same basic scope of what we were going to expect in Breath of the Wild. Like, I mean, a lot of the things with the UI were different, but we kind of got a general idea of how Breath of the Wild was going to be. And then E3 2016, they had the demo there and a bunch of new footage and another trailer. And then kind of leading into 2017, there was the trailer for that, which is kind of comparable to the trailer that was released for Tears of the Kingdom just a couple weeks ago. But yeah, and that was basically where the hype was out of control for Breath of the Wild and the Switch in general. Like, that was definitely a pretty exciting time, and just to play through Breath of the Wild at that time was just really fun and exciting in general. And I think it took me about a month and a half to beat the game, because I got it around April of 2017, because I got my Switch about a little over a month after it came out. and then I played it and I beat it around like late May, the early June of 2017, because I did like a lot of the side quests and shrines and other things in the game. But yeah, I just the whole experience of playing through the game was just excellent for the reasons that I mentioned before. And yeah, from there, I was really hoping that the game would get a sequel. And my wish would come true at E3 of 2019 when they revealed the trailer for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. It was just the sequel to the Breath of the Wild at the time, no other title, at the end of E3 2019, and I was really excited about that. I even have a reaction on the channel, because by E3 2018, I started doing like the Nintendo Direct reactions and everything, so I have a reaction of that one. I got excited, I hugged my Link amiibo for Breath of the Wild, but yeah, I was really excited about that. But then there was quite a while where we didn't get anything. Like, I think it was 2 years, where there was like no new news or anything about the game, except for some very minor details. But yeah, I think that was mostly due to the pandemic, which kind of makes sense. We didn't really get a lot of information about many other games. But yeah, I think it was kind of like how we are like discussing how Metroid Prime 4 is now. It was kind of unclear when the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild would release, or what even it would be called and everything. Like, we were thinking maybe the end of 2021 or something like that. Maybe even 2020. Maybe that's what they're hiding for 2020. But in 2020, we got Age of Calamity, which is kind of a spin-off of Breath of the Wild, kind of a prequel that's technically not canon for certain story-related reasons, but it's still pretty fun. I do have some problems with the story, but overall, I think it's a great game. It's definitely has a lot of fan service for Breath of the Wild, and it's cool to see some of those locations in kind of a like a Warriors game like that. And I think that was pretty fun overall. I also played through that game around the time it came out, and I did a review of it as well. That was a pretty fun game, and I was kind of wondering if any of that any of the elements shown in that game would carry over to Tears of the Kingdom. But at this point, I'm not sure, but there might be some elements. But yeah, that was a pretty fun experience, and it definitely had a lot of fun things to offer. But moving into 2021, we got the E3 2021 trailer for that. And yeah, it kind of showed a lot more information. It kind of showed the Sky Islands for the first time, but it still didn't show like that many details about it. It showed some like interesting things here and there, but we didn't really get too much. We just got like a general grasp of what the game was going to be like. And then in 2022, when the game was kind of set to launch, we got the news that it was delayed to 2023, and then we got like the other trailers for the game with the Direct and everything. And by the Direct of September 2022, I feel like that was a very weird moment for Tears of the Kingdom. Like, up to that point, like, we barely knew anything about the game, and then the trailer that we got was still pretty vague, and we were only like a few months away from the game's release. So that was pretty weird, and there was definitely some controversy between then up until like earlier this year. Like, it was very unclear what the game was going to be like, even though we did have like the title and everything and some general details. Like, I feel like it took until the gameplay presentation in March until we knew like any concrete details about the game. I feel like even leaks kind of revealed like more interesting things about the game than what we've seen from trailers, like when the art book leaked and everything. So in between September of last year up until March, it was a very weird and uncertain period for this game, which was definitely very different from the anticipation and build up to Breath of the Wild. But by March, we got that gameplay trailer, and then a couple weeks after that, we got the final trailer. I feel like that definitely put a lot of faith back into the community and everything, and that definitely kind of elaborated how this game was going to be different from Breath of the Wild and what it was bringing to the table. But it was weird how they didn't really reveal anything in either the September or February direct. I mean, technically, they did reveal things, but they were just very vague, and they didn't really show how it set Tears of the Kingdom apart from Breath of the Wild. But now we kind of do have like a, well, obviously now that the game is releasing and everything, finally we have like a grasp of how this game is going to be different. And by that final trailer, we finally kind of had more faith in this game and everything. But yeah, I'm generally really excited about this game, and I feel like it's probably gonna be one of my favorite games of all time. Just looking that it's gonna expand the scope of Breath of the Wild and offer some very different and promising mechanics in the game. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, just leading up to the release of this game, I feel like it's been pretty crazy. I mean, the hype is finally kind of close to the level of what it was with the release of kind of similar to the release of Breath of the Wild. It's kind of finally kind of spiraling out of control. There's a lot of controversy, like with leaks and different things, and game journalists that I don't even want to get into. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm definitely gonna do a lot of coverage of the game once it releases on Friday. Like, yeah, it's definitely one of my most anticipated games, and I'm really looking forward to it. And one more thing I wanted to address is about the $70 price point, because that's definitely been another kind of controversial aspect of this game. And even though I am really excited about this game, and this game is probably going to be one of my favorites, I don't like that this game is going to be $70. I feel like that's definitely a pretty bad decision on Nintendo's part, because I feel like no game should be priced at $70. I feel like, especially because of the economy right now, like, everything is going up in price. I feel like games are kind of an escape for people. They're kind of something that people can kind of, like, relax, and I don't think they should I don't think they should increase the price of games, because I feel like there's been a shift to digital recently, and even though I prefer physical games, I feel like the cost of production really isn't increasing too much for these games, at least for some of these games, especially Nintendo's games, which are much less powerful than games on other systems. But yeah, I feel like even though this game did have a lot of effort put into it, I don't really think any game should be priced at $70. I feel like $60 should kind of be the limit for what games should be priced and everything. But yeah. Anyways, I'm really excited about Tears of the Kingdom, despite some of the controversy going on, and I feel like this definitely has the potential to be one of my favorite games of all time. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server if you want to. Goodbye.